A big green arrow and the luxury of 5 free transfers going into FPL Gameweek 16. I've certainly got options with my squad and I might even be playing another chip this game week. Help me get this one to 1,000 likes. Subscribe to the channel as well. Let's get into it. With some exciting matchups for Game Week 16, including Arsenal hosting bottom of the league Wolves, it's a great time to look again at the Fantasy Gaming Hub app, link below to download. Let's open a gold pack up and see what we get. Oh, we've got Ndai to start with. That's a good pull. He's come into form. He could have some utility this week. Oh, Ben White as well. Oh, I love that pick. Wolves at home. Obviously, this is the time to capitalise. He started back-to-back games and Calafiori is suspended for this one. So high hopes for him. He's doing really well in the rankings. He's definitely a card I'd need to get straight into training. And we've got Iwobi as well. He obviously scored not long ago against Manchester City, so high on confidence. Burnley away is a great entry point. I think I'll be using Iwobi and White in my Saturday squad on the Fantasy Gaming Hub app. Remember, you can pick a team for every single match day using the players and the teams that you've opened from packs. The Wolves fixture for the Gunners has to be the go-to. I'm going to be using my Arsenal card. I'm also going to be maxing out on those Arsenal players. Remember, this is a free-to-play app with some huge prizes. So download the Fantasy Gaming Hub app today and open your free pack using the link in the description to this video. 67 points then from my wildcard team in Game Week 15. I can't complain with that. Obviously, the double Arsenal clean sheet didn't land. A rare defeat for the Gunners against Aston Villa, but I knew it was a tough entry point. I did get a clean sheet from O'Reilly. I bought the correct Newcastle United defender in Teor, but to get that clean sheet wipeout so late in the game really did sting. Some double-digit hauls in my midfield. Foden, who was the motivation to wildcard. Bruno, who was one of my differential picks. And obviously Bruno Fernandes with an 18-pointer as well. Got to be happy with all of those. Saka got himself a return as well, which was encouraging. And Elliot Anderson, I was wavering between him and Dewsbury Hall. Obviously, Anderson didn't get the points this time, but he did get those defensive contributions in that fixture, which is something that we can take hold of. Blanks from the forward line with Thiago and Haaland, who was massively captained once again. So kind of everyone was losing out. I did have 10 points on my bench. Remember, I've still got that bench boost chip to play. I was wavering on Saka and Rice. I was kind of looking at Munoz, who missed out altogether. I ignored the Brighton attack with Minte and Welbeck. Voltemade also in my thoughts blanked. So not in too bad a position. No regrets on the wild card, that's for sure. Let's have a look at the form versus fixture charts then going into Game Week 16. And top of the form charts, it's Manchester City, who are scoring for fun right now. A lot of those goals coming courtesy of Phil Foden. Not far behind them in second place is Newcastle. Very happy to be doubled up on their assets right now. Third is Aston Villa. Again, I keep looking at Aston Villa thinking, are they a team to invest in or are they a trap? You just look at where the goals are coming from and they're not coming from obvious places. So I think I'm okay with not owning a Villa asset at the moment. At the other end of the table, well, Wolves did get on the score sheet against Manchester United, but it was another loss. West Ham are down there as well, as are Burnley. Those three well clear of the rest at the bottom. Moving on to the fixture charts, this is filtered by attack for the next 4 game weeks from Fantasy Football Hub. 3 clear teams out in front. It's Liverpool who are top. 3 home games in the next 4 against Brighton, Wolves and Leeds. Arsenal in second. Also 3 home games in 4. Wolves, Brighton and another matchup with Aston Villa. Third place is Manchester United. They've got Bournemouth, Newcastle and Wolves again in their upcoming schedule. Game Week 19 I think could be the reverse of the Game Week 15 fixtures that we've just had. At the bottom end, Wolves, it couldn't get much worse for them. Everton are down there as well, and Spurs and Aston Villa are getting dragged into it. So when we combine that, we see that in first place, way out in front, it's Arsenal with clear ground to Manchester City, and then Manchester United, Newcastle and Liverpool making up the top 5. Not a lot to separate them. At the opposite end, Wolves are way off the pace. West Ham getting dragged down there as well. Burnley, Bournemouth and Spurs are the ones that are getting dragged into this as well. So plenty to take stock of in these charts. Now, it's worth noting we've got another busy midweek of European fixtures. We've got 9 sides involved in Europe, and in the Champions League on Tuesday, we've got Chelsea away at Atalanta, Liverpool away at Inter with Spurs at home, and then on Wednesday's fixtures, City travelling to Real Madrid, Arsenal travelling to Club Brugge, and Newcastle against Leverkusen as well. So lots of miles for these big teams that we are wanting to invest in. Then on Thursday, it's away trips for Aston Villa and Forest in the Europa League, with Crystal Palace also on the road in the UEFA Conference League. So you may be looking at your team at the moment thinking it's not in bad shape, but a lot can change. By the time we've got through to Friday, all these players will have played in midweek. So if you can hang on to your transfers, it could be that those 5 free transfers are burning a hole in your pocket and lots of price changes because the market is very busy, but patience could really pay off. Let's have a look at my team then. I've got 0.1 million in the bank, 5 free transfers, and as it stands, I don't really feel like I need to make a transfer. So I'm in a bit of a weird position, kind of secretly hoping that maybe something comes up midweek that forces me into making a transfer. That's kind of where my head is at with things at the moment. There's a lot that I need to consider in here. One thing that I had planned for was using the bench boost in game week 18. I could bring that forward though to game week 16. Now I'm looking at my double Burnley defence. It's Fulham at home this week, which isn't as strong as Everton at home in 18, but if I've got everyone fit, it does raise the question of, is this week the week to play the bench boost? One decision I was wavering on my wildcard was whether to go for Krupi or whether to go for Mark Yu as my budget forward. Krupi, obviously Manchester United away this week. He didn't play any minutes last time out against Chelsea, so he's a bit of a concern. Mark Yu got 58 minutes against Bournemouth, and Delap is now injured as well, so I feel like Yu has got a great chance of minutes against Everton at home in game week 16. Obviously I need to take on board any minutes played in the Champions League, but if he looks like a starter, given the fact that Burnley have got the possibility of a clean sheet, I could go from Krupi to Yu, which would free up 0.4 million, uses the transfer that I've got available to me, and sets up the bench boost perfectly for this week, because I've got a few things that I need to keep an eye on. There's the yellow card situation. I think I've got Anderson at Nottingham Forest who's on 4 yellows, so he's 1 game away. Is he on 4 yellows? Maybe I've got that wrong. Let me just check. I felt like he was heading for a suspension, but I could be wrong. No, he's got 3 yellows, but obviously they could mount up quite quickly. I don't want to be in a situation where I get to the game week 18 bench boost and I've got to make moves and use transfers I don't want to use just to optimise. But obviously if there was an injury that popped up midweek, that could change absolutely everything. Team selection time then. I'm very happy to have this double Arsenal defence at home to Wolves with Raya and Timber. I've also got a favourable fixture for Tior away at Sunderland, O'Reilly away at Crystal Palace, maybe not the easiest fixture on paper. Then I've got Dubravka and Esteve against Fulham at home on my bench boost, with Richards, Manchester City at home. Kind of a little bit of regret maybe of picking him on the wild card to use him on bench boost this week. It was game week 18 where the fixture was more favourable for him, but every game he's got that base of 4 points, hasn't he? We saw him again last time out, no clean sheet for Crystal Palace against Fulham, but another 4-pointer for him. Into the midfield, it's looking sort of strong for this week. I've got the 2 Brunos, Fernandes and Bruno Guimaraes. I've also got Foden, who's in sensational form away at Crystal Palace. Saka at home to Wolves. Anderson at home to Spurs. Another player who, not the easiest of fixtures, but you kind of expect another 4 points from him from this game. And then we've got Thiago with Leeds at home. Hopefully he can get his first goal for me in my squad proper, and Erling Haaland away at Crystal Palace, with Mark Yu hopefully waiting on the bench with some minutes for Everton at home on the bench boost. Big question, captaincy. Feels like a week that I could go against Haaland, and I think everybody ought to be considering this. A lot will depend on minutes in the Champions League in midweek. We don't need to worry about that for Bruno Fernandes, who has Bournemouth at home, who looked electric against Wolves. He's got 2 double-digit hauls in his last 3 games. Hasn't looked great at home, though. We've got Bukayo Saka at home to Wolves. Again, a player who looks like he's banging form at the moment. 1 goal, 2 assists. Had a bit of a recent rest as well. Again, I'll be looking at his minutes, but Wolves at home, you've got top v bottom, and there just seems to be bags of potential from Arsenal in that game. Then you compare that to Haaland. Crystal Palace away, not the easiest fixture on paper, but he did get a double-digit haul in his last away game. There's a lot to think about. I will be swung by Champions League minutes, but given I've got a triple up on City with Haaland, Foden and O'Reilly, I feel like if City do pop off, I've kind of got enough coverage anyway that I kind of do want to back Saka. Foden's got to be in the mix as well on current form, but I think for me, it's going to be Saka captain and Haaland vice-captain. Let me know what you think in the comments then. Can you see a luxury transfer my side should be making? Am I right to be activating the bench boost as well? Help me get this to 1,000 likes. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you for watching.